for this show to be truly successful in those last few episodes, you kind of have to feel a little conflicted.
Yeah, and like just that vigilante.
I'm all for light.
You're just 100% all light. Yeah, but we've talked about how fucked
motherfucker
up
would
you
put the
are.
gauntlet on and do what Thanos did. So
Right?
Yeah.
We've been over how fucked up some of
is,
Mikey's thinking is. Okay. We love him. We do. But we recognize it.
we love him because if he does get the gauntlet, we want him to spare us.
Yeah. We don't want him to use the death
I don't want him
note.
to write my name in there. Make it a good one this time.
Fuck you.
It's okay.
What do you mean?
I'll take it.
How else am I going to make this a good one?
I don't know. Give it some effort. There you go. That's better. You did it.
I did.
I'm proud of you.
Well, you know, I have a surprise for you.
What's that?
I wrote your name somewhere.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, where? Do you have it tattooed on you somewhere?
No.
Okay.
I wrote your name in a book.
Which book did you write it in? That's so nice. Like a guest book?
not so much. Like it's more like well, I guess technically it's kind of like a funeral guest book.
Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. What?
Oh.
Oh, wait, what?
Oh, no.
Or a notebook of some kind.
Oh,
Yeah.
no. Like what kind of notebook?
like one that is black and not from this world.
Weird.
Yeah.
I never heard of that before.
And like after this episode, something happens because you can. How long? I think you can like it's like pretty much, like write out a script of what they're gonna do before they, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you want to know something?
What?
I have Shinigami Eyes. And you're also dead.
Do you,
I can see it.
Do you guys want to know something?
What's that?
What's that?
That might not be the only book
Oh shit!
in
Oh
existence.
shit! I didn't know you had one.
Now I feel left out.
Yeah, because I brought my Ryuk and my book down for this episode.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's so good. That's so good that you brought
The
that.
three-way oh shit moment is so fitting for this fucking show, right?
Yeah. What's the show though?
Well, I mean, I guess it's making notes in high school.
Yeah.
And
It's called
Anime Shmanime. Welcome back, guys. I'm your host, Mikey Lee.
And I am Jordy Hedderwick.
Yeah.
And I am Jay Beckett.
And today we are covering
Death Note.
Death Note.
And we will spoil it. This is your official alert.
Yes.
Yeah.
So don't go any further if you haven't seen it, or if you don't care. Good for you.
Yeah, then hang on with
Hang
us.
out, yeah.
We're going to have a good time. My reference to describe the show is something that not everyone will get, but I know you will. Death Note is a game of Mafia. Okay?
I get that too.
Yeah?
I
Have
know,
you played
I know
Mafia?
the Mafia game.
Okay, good. I don't mean just the two of you. I know he does. I wasn't sure about you,
yeah.
but a lot of Shweebs out there maybe have no fucking idea.
So anyway, like I mean, I think there's like a bunch of different names for that game,
Sure.
but essentially it's like what is that? Among Us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like
pretty
that,
much.
but it's like
Among Us.
a party game.
One person's
Yeah.
an imposter. Everybody
Yeah.
else has to find out who
Yeah.
they are.
You gotta
by the end of
suss
the
it
game.
out. Like,
And
you're,
so-
you're sus. You're totally
What?
sus.
No.
Yeah, you're totally sus. Are you kidding me?
You're fucking sus, brother.
No.
Yeah. Mikey's Mafia. Active vote, Mikey. Anyways, in the show, L is clearly detective.
Yeah.
Right? And Light and Misa are the Mafia. And
Yeah.
all the task force are just townspeople. And they're all just trying to figure out who the Mafia is.
Yeah.
Right?
You know what? Like that is actually a very, very good description
Yeah.
of the game of the show.
Yeah.
On the money as always, Jordan.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Actually,
and
I
Ryuk
like
is
that
also
one.
like a shitty Jiminy Cricket.
Who just really likes apples.
Yeah.
He never has to go to the doctor.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think this fucking guy needs to go to the doctor. He's
No.
kind of dead and eternal, I think.
Yeah.
Anyways, this show was like, I didn't get what I wanted out of this show
What?
because it has so much hype.
Wait. Before we go on, did you watch the entire thing, or did you just watch until like episode 26? Like
I
told
watched
you?
about episode 26 like you told me.
Okay, good. Because
Yeah.
the other like 1/3 or the last third of it is whatsoever. Like Jay and I were talking about it before.
Right.
It's a really weird. It feels off. Pacing's different.
Yeah.
It's like a Walmart version of the rest of the show.
I did watch it through to the end. And I would say, like, if you're really, really loving these characters and you're really craving more, and at the end of those 26 episodes, you're just like, I need more. 100% finish the show.
Sure.
It's 10 episodes.
Yeah.
Get your fill,
Yeah.
round out the story, and find out what really happens in the end. That being said, this first arc is very satisfying. Conclusion is drawn by the end.
I felt like I got my fill. I felt like you had said when you suggested to stop there, that it did really wrap up, and I didn't need more. And also, there's a part of me that's like, I know that there is more, but I don't know if they can top what they've done.
They can't.
And I just don't want to just watch 10 episodes of downward falling action.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And that is ultimately what it
exactly
is.
what happens.
There's a little spike at the very end, obviously, when things really do conclude for our main guy.
Right. You did fill me in the other day. You can say it out loud now, I guess.
Yeah, but like the
We are spoiling, right?
the energy really does spike when Light is fucking caught up, basically, and has to face the truth to all of his peers and all the other detectives for the first time. That does electrify you a little bit.
Yeah.
But the 10 episodes leading up to that,
worth it.
Didn't really like. It didn't feel like it built up.
It's
to
almost
me.
like they had two endings, like an alternate ending, and they wanted to give you both. And so instead of just giving an alternate ending, they're like, well, let's just write 10 more episodes and give you the other ending afterwards too.
Well, that's kind of what happened, right?
The history on it was the manga was pressured to keep going because people didn't like the fact that Light wins at the end of the manga's regular run. So they were like, no, keep going and write an ending where this guy loses. He's evil. He needs to lose.
Yeah.
And so then the anime reflected that. And
Yeah.
so you ended up with those extra 10 episodes, just like you had the extra chapters of the manga.
Yeah.
And it just shows what happens when you push an artist to continue making their art, even though the artist says, I'm done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Like he already had a conclusive idea, a polished idea, right? Like I don't know. Some people are just whiny, I guess.
Yeah.
And greedy.
Yeah. And I'm sure there was also money involved in that.
100%.
You know what I mean? That's
Always, though.
Yeah.
That's like the base of everything.
Every bad decision.
Yeah. That and producers getting in the way of an artist's idea.
For sure.
Right? Like, I can't handle it. But other than that, this is probably one of the most well ingrained animes in pop culture.
Yeah, it's iconic. And again, that's what I was saying before we started talking about that, is that like even as a non-anime fan, I heard about this show for years.
Yeah.
And everyone said you should watch it. And that's why I think I just didn't get what I want. I don't feel it lived up to the hype it gets.
Oh, I hate that.
To me, the whole show just felt kind of middle of the road for me. I was expecting something really, really like exciting and groundbreaking, and I didn't get that.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, sorry, buddy. I guess certain things about it, like every plot point was just a little too convenient and obvious. Like one thing after another, until the huge reveal, the ending scene, which was like a saving grace for the show, because that like ending sequence leading up to episode 26 was fantastic. Just the whole rest of the show was just a lot of deliberation and deducing things, a lot of conversations, a lot of aha. Over and over and over again, man.
Light bulbs.
Yeah.
Light bulbs
Exactly.
everywhere.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, as far as pacing goes, too, this came out, when did it come out? 2000? Senpai's going to give me
I don't know.
to.
Yeah.
2006.
Okay.
2006, yeah. So, like, it's all kind of on par with the pacing from back then, right?
Yeah.
Like, you don't get too many shows that have poor pacing like that now. Well, okay, I shouldn't say that
Yeah,
entirely.
careful what you say there, buddy. Another thing that was a bit of a letdown is like, because this show's so iconic, the iconic thing about the show is this guy right here.
Ryuk?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he doesn't fucking do shit.
Yeah.
He literally just floats around, dude. All I see for years as a kid hearing about the show is this crazy looking creature, this demon creature. And in the show, he literally just floats around. But he does nothing.
Okay, so Jay and I were talking about this before you came back from hair and makeup.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, fuck it.
Hair and makeup is the toilet.
Yeah, Shweebs, we call it hair and makeup the fucking toilet. But like essentially, because there's a lot of action sequence cinematography that happens, but
Sure.
there's no actual action.
Zero.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think that's what I really love about this is that you don't get that, and it's not like they don't focus on Ryuk like having a big action sequence with, like other Shinigamis or anything like
Sure.
that. It's a cerebral thriller, like psychological thriller mystery.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm glad that they didn't do that because I think it would have taken away from the anime.
It might have. And again, like everyone's going to have different opinions on that. But to me, I feel like the anime as it was kind of boring, and a little bit of Shinigami action might have brought it up to a level where I was like able to digest a lot of this, like this thriller kind of whodunit situation going on. Do you know what I mean? Without it, it was all kind of just the whole show was a little lackluster.
Yeah, but it's not but the story is not about that. And also the Shinigamis can't really interfere in the same way. They're not supposed to anyway.
Yeah,
But you know what I
even,
mean?
Like even just the way they move, dude.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't even move his body. He just literally statically floats.
Yeah.
And Rem, when you meet her later, she's always just kind of standing still.
Yeah.
I'm like, move around a little bit. You look so cool. Like,
I like that though because it's like,
But
they're just kind of like in the background, like any kind of creepy like horror
Yeah.
movies, ghost movies.
Yeah.
Like they're just creeping in the back, kind of lingering.
I guess, but this wasn't like a horror or a creepy movie. It was just like you said, a mystery kind of detective thriller. And there was just this guy, but he didn't even look as badass as this. This looks fucking crazy, dude.
Yeah. Okay, so for our listeners, I have a Ryuk statue next to us, but
Yeah.
but he is a really cool design.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Better than he was designed or even portrayed in the show.
Nah, fuck off.
Okay, that being said, the concept was cool. The concept
Okay.
of the Death Note,
Yes.
I like that.
Yes.
Also, the final sequence, fantastic. So it's not like the show was bad.
Yeah.
I just was a little bored and, like I said, a little middle of the road. I
Yeah.
wasn't really like getting excited to watch it the next day. as I'm
You know what,
watching it.
man? I feel bad for you because I do hear.
Don't condescend to me, you motherfucker.
I'm not being condescending
Okay,
right now. No.
yeah.
I'm just saying that I sympathize because I hate when people overhype things for me.
Yeah.
And going in, and it's just
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, it's not as cool as I thought it was gonna be because I listen to everybody.
Yeah.
Right. Like I get that.
It
And
felt like
it's-
false advertising. Again,
Yeah.
all the promotional material, every time you
Yeah.
see this show, it's this guy's face. And
Yeah.
when I see this guy's face in the show,
It's
he's
not
just
actually really about him.
he's just
Yeah.
floating around. And I was
Yeah.
like, I don't need that. Yeah.
No, but the thing too though is like it's so ingrained in pop culture. Like you see MMA guys. I think at one point there's
Israel Adesanya.
Yeah.
He wrote his opponent's name in a death note.
That's fucking hilarious. Yeah, that's clever.
He's a huge anime fan.
Yeah,
I love it.
I think he also tried to like throw a Pokeball at somebody too.
Yeah,
in
he's
the
done
match.
Kamehamehas.
Yeah.
He's
That's
done like jutsus from Naruto.
Yeah.
yeah.
So good.
Hilarious.
But
yeah.
he's also like like one of the best on the planet.
Yeah.
So it's not like just some goof like
Yeah.
screwing around. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
he's
flexing.
actually amazing.
He's flexing when he does that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And also,
Nice.
not to mention, like, it's even got its own American live action. Granted, I have very strong opinions about live action anime.
He strongly loves it.
Fuck you! I'm gonna fight you. I have a pen somewhere.
Couldn't help it. Who can write
many
fast?
lines.
Who can write faster?
Yeah.
In the live action show, is Scarlett Johansson in it?
Oh god.
She's Ryuk.
Actually, yeah,
She can play it.
No,
she's
ran-
multi-talented.
Yeah, she's no. What was the other girl's name?
Misa?
Misa. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's Misa.
Yeah, she could do that. She could pull it off.
You know what though?
She'd be great at it.
Yeah, and then I would write her name in the fucking. She can fuck right off.
Yeah, but her movies, her legacy will live on forever.
God damn it, Jordy.
On that note, I think I'm ready for some history, unless you got anything more you want to touch on before we move on.
No, let's get down to
Let's
it.
go. Tell me about Death Note, Jay.
Yeah, so Death Note is a Japanese manga and anime series. The manga was written by Sugumi Oba and illustrated by Takeshi Obata. So here's a situation where you had a writer and an illustrator that were two different people, as opposed
That's not
to
common, I guess.
Well, not that it's not common, but it's also very common that a mangaka will write and illustrate their own manga entirely,
Sure,
right? The story follows Light Yagami, a teen genius who discovers a mysterious notebook, the Death Note, which belonged to the Shinigami Ryuk, and grants the user the supernatural ability to kill anyone whose name is written on its pages. The series centers around Light's subsequent attempts to use the Death Note to carry out a worldwide massacre of individuals whom he deems immoral and to create a crime-free society, using the alias of a godlike vigilante named Kira. Yeah, so a little history on the anime. The Death Note anime, directed by Tetsuro Araki and animated by Madhouse. Madhouse we've seen through Beck, Mongolian Chop Squad, Parasite, The Maxim.
Yeah.
A bunch more we're going to get into, but they're like, they got their hands in so many anime.
Madhouse is a big one.
Humongous one. This is actually one of their big ones. When you think Madhouse, people always think Death Note.
Death Note, yeah.
Yeah. It began airing in Japan on October 3rd, 2006, and finished its run on June 26th, 2007, totaling 37 29-minute episodes, of which we're only covering the first 26. The series aired on the Nippon Television Network every Tuesday at 11:34. The series was co-produced by Madhouse, Nippon Television, Shueisha, DN Dream Partners, and VAP. In North America, the series was licensed by Viz for residents in the United States to use download to own and download to rent services while it was still airing in Japan.
Interesting.
This move was seen as significant because it marked the first time a well-known Japanese anime property was made legally available in the United States for domestic audiences to download while the title was still airing on Japanese television.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so
That's
it's
kinda
like
neat.
simulcasting,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah.
This is like one of the first instances where you could simulcast, basically. Be watching at the same time as people in Japan.
Interesting.
Of course, in English or in Japanese with English subtitles.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because no dub had been created
Not yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it's just a little cool,
Yeah.
interesting part about this show is like it's groundbreaking for a lot of reasons. Right?
Yeah, not just for the way it was made, but the way it was released as well. Too.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah,
Crazy.
I'm telling you, man. Fucking Death Note. Shit's
Yeah.
real.
Like in real life?
Could you imagine?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like for me, I love anti-heroes. I love
Yeah.
anti-heroes. I sympathize more with like Thanos, for example. I think he had a good idea.
I like that. We'll get into this more later as I quote myself in saying that. But like, I also like anti-heroes. I found that like I didn't like Light. You know what I mean? Like he wasn't written.
I didn't either, dude.
He wasn't written for you to like. He was written for you to hate.
No, see, this is the thing. Like, it's like because we were talking about how the community people complained and they wanted more out of the manga, because they didn't want Light to win.
Exactly.
But I'm like, I like the fact that he won because he's doing the dirty work that nobody wants to do.
I get behind that, and that's why I like as an anti-hero. But as a character, he wasn't a likable character. But in saying that, I also liked that in the end of what I watched, which I'm going to call the end, I liked that he won too, because I don't need the main character to be a good guy and win. It's fine to me that the main character is a guy I don't like and still wins. In fact, that's a good move because that's not a normal move.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I like that. Let's go backwards a bit and talk about world, because we jumped forward to characters there. But that's
Fair
okay.
enough.
This is kind of interesting because there's two worlds, right? There's your standard Japan with not much like interesting shit going on.
Old-timey Japan.
The regular timey Japan this time.
Modern
Yeah,
Japan.
modern
Yeah.
Japan.
Plain
Yeah.
ass Japan.
Exactly. But then there's also the Shinigami world, which was kind of neat. But again, you only see it like twice.
Yeah, just a few times right at the beginning. And
then once there's a flashback about that other Shinigami who died or whatever.
Yeah.
And the thing with the show that I'll relate it to another show we've covered is like Dragon Maid. There wasn't enough of the dragons in that show, like, and the same in this show. There wasn't enough of the Shinigami, what they do, their world, which like could have been an opportunity. And really, I think just thinking about it now, what I want is a Shinigami spinoff.
Well, okay,
Like I want a
so-
show that like veers, do you know what I mean, and gives me some stories more about that.
Yeah, so I was talking to Jay earlier too about like how it would have been really nice instead of giving us the arc with the two fucking losers.
He means near and mellow for anybody who's actually finished all of it.
Yeah, I finished all of it like a couple times, but like. But it would have been cool if they put in a mechanic where after this first arc was finished and L dies and all that stuff, Light goes into the Shinigami world.
Sure.
Or like he turned into a Shinigami. Like that
Something
would've-
like that.
That would have been awesome. I would have been like so up for that.
Yeah,
A lot of the show was making me think that was where it was going.
Yeah.
And I was anticipating at some point that we would start spending more time in that realm.
Yeah.
We would see a little bit more drama even amongst the Shinigami themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
Which they started to kind of hint at. And
They
even
did.
in those following 10 episodes, you get introduced to yet another Shinigami, even beyond Ryuk and Rem.
Yeah.
You get introduced to a third one.
Okay, yeah.
And you see that there's more and more and more.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and then again, as Light continues his descent into, losing his humanity, at some point you start to wonder, when will he become a Shinigami?
Yeah.
When will he
because,
bridge that gap?
And this is kind of a plot point, but the Shinigami world, like they're all kind of bored and shitty Shinigamis now, right? And then he comes through and he's an amazing Shinigami.
Yeah.
So to me, like you said, it felt like it was going there. It felt like they were building him up to like regrow the Shinigami world back to what it was. To
Sure.
like bring it back up to its former glory.
Shake it
You know
up.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Never happens.
Never happened.
No. Yeah. Didn't happen.
No. But again,
But-
it wasn't written to be that show, as you guys are saying. I just think that I would have liked it better.
Yeah, it would
you
have
know
been
what I mean?
cool. I would agree that it would have been cool if they added that
Yeah.
later on as the second season.
I think it would have aligned more with my taste in anime personally.
Yeah.
That being said, like I'm glad I got to watch a much more cerebral mental
Yeah.
anime because I usually don't go for those.
Right.
So it was nice to take a little break and
Sure.
Well,
flex
also-
my brain a little bit.
Also, at the time, 2000, what was it, 2006?
Yeah.
There wasn't anything like that as far as like psychological kind of thriller mystery.
In anime, you mean?
Yeah, in anime. There wasn't many of them. Like, I can't really
Probably
think
just
of
all
it.
action at the time.
Yeah,
right?
a lot of action, a lot of shonen. Like, even this is technically shonen, right? Like, it was in Shonen Jump, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, well, but it was unique in Shonen Jump in that
Yeah.
it was the only non-action anime
Yeah.
that they were showing in Shonen Jump magazine.
Interesting. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but it was so cool because like Mikey said earlier with some of the cinematography and the camera movements, they bring it this close to being an action anime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then they don't give you the action.
Yeah.
And to some people that's gonna piss them off because they'll be like, "Fine, give me the fucking action." But then other people are gonna be like, "Oh, I like that they're not."
Yeah.
The subversion is
Yeah.
pleasurable for some people.
And
Yeah.
like they definitely gave you a story that you could sink your teeth into. Do you know what I mean? Like aside from the action alone, like there's something for you to want to watch the next episodes, right?
This is a page turner in
Yeah.
anime form,
Yeah.
in my opinion. I was always
sure.
hungry for the next episode.
Yeah. Also, I don't know if, for listeners and viewers, do you guys know what Shinigami is?
The gods of death or whatever.
Well, they're technically like Grim Reapers.
Okay. Yeah.
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 Because that was just a teachable moment.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I guess if anyone hasn't seen the show.
You don't even know half of the language. That
No, but
they're
they explained
using.
it. In the first episode, they tell you what Shinigami are.
Yeah. Okay. That's
It's funny
fair.
because we've watched other anime very recently that also use the word in different contexts as
Yes.
well.
Did they?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Which one?
Another translation you could make Shinigami into is Demon Slayer.
Oh, okay.
Cough.
Interesting. You guys are silly. Let's move on and talk about art a little bit. So the art is another point that I felt was kind of middle of the road, dude. I'm sure that because I don't have the framework of watching anime, I feel like I say that in every episode.
Yes, you
Yes,
do.
yeah.
But I don't have it. And so to me, watching this, I wasn't able to pick out the differences between this and a lot of the other animes we've watched. And there was nothing making it exceptional to me in the art.
I think the exceptional part about the art in this is that it is almost timeless, right? Because it's from 2006. Back then, that art style is still kind of used today, and it's like. The guy who made this I just released, and it just finished at the time of the recording, Platinum End, which is another anime that's really great. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. Fucking super sweet.
Yeah.
I still like Death Note a little bit more, but it's cool. But it's the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Like it's timeless style. It's a timeless style.
I can get behind that because while I didn't find it was exceptional, it wasn't bad. It was just doing its job well. You know what I mean? It just felt like all the other animes. You know what I mean? So yeah, I guess you could call that timeless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, timeless.
I'll allow it.
You'll allow it.
I think two major factors contributing to your feelings on the art.
Yeah.
One, we've spoiled the shit out of you when it
Yeah.
comes to art anime.
It's true.
That's probably true. Yeah.
It's really not fair to give you all the ones we've given you and then be
Yeah.
like, don't you think this art's great? 'Cause,
Yeah.
like,
I know.
it's not in
We
comparison.
should have just
really.
started from like the 40s or the 50s.
Well, yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah. Giving you like old Astro Boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the other reason I think maybe the art might be hitting you that way is like it time and place, right? At the time,
Sure.
this was considered one of the better artistic animes in the early 2000s. Like
I believe
this
that.
would be up there.
Yeah, I believe it.
Nowadays, it's just par for the course. This is just average now. But Mikey's right. Current modern Madhouse anime that we made this, they look exactly like this still.
Yeah.
They haven't updated it because they don't need to.
No, because they were ahead of the game then.
Yeah.
And now the game's catching up.
Yes, and that's why maybe it's not hitting you so.
Probably. That's probably why. Yeah. The only other thing I had about art is the design of the Shinigamis. We kind of touched on this.
Yeah.
They look dope.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're cool designs. Could have been used better, and could have been like again, the Shinigamis don't move their bodies, so like they're designed, cool, but they don't have the articulation that
They just
adds
float
to the
through
coolness.
space.
Yeah, kinda,
No, but like I mean, there's poses that like Ryuk does where he's like just kind of lying there, like with his arm out, like out like this.
I just wanted the
and just-
articulation of the characters to match the intensity of the design, because the design is dope.
But I like that juxtaposition, right? Because it's you're expect that's what you're expecting.
You're just you like to be edged.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know?
I do.
Yeah. You don't want to come.
I don't know how to answer that right because now I'm doing some self-reflecting.
Speaking of good poses, though, I had to crack up and draw attention to when Ryuk doesn't get his apples.
That is kind of funny. Yeah, when he starts
It gets all
twisting up like a
contorted
pretzel.
and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, I love that.
That was kind of cool.
Crack for him, man.
Yeah, but also like kind of just a comedy moment. Like it wasn't really
it's comic relief.
intense or
Yeah.
cool. And what I want from the Shinigamis is a little bit of intensity, because they look like they should be intense, and then they just never were.
But the thing is, I don't think they should be intense. I think they should be as stoic as possible because they don't need to portray the intensity because they already look intense.
When you say the word stoic, that really does actually reframe it a little bit, because you're right that the stoic nature of what they are and what they do, that does lend itself to like small, chill movements, upright standing.
They have no stakes in what's going on.
Yeah.
They
They're
don't
just
care.
observers.
Yeah.
I mean, other than like,
Even like
Rem, I've got
Yeah.
to say, you want to talk about intensity. I thought personally Rem towards the end, getting protective of Misa,
Yeah.
and then realizing that they had to go through with,
I kept getting distracted because she just looked like a mummy.
yeah,
kind of, yeah,
yeah.
that vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she's the only one that really cared about her owner and like was kind of like becoming a little bit more human
For sure.
that way.
Yeah. Just going back to stoic, and that, like now it's all landing in my head now why the choices, because again, even the way they kill humans, but even the way they kill is like subtle.
Yeah.
They take the pen and they write the name. There's no weapons or slashing or thrashing or
no
hellfire or
scythe.
anything like that.
Yeah, there's no
It's just like
scythe.
okay. Yeah.
You could do that
Scribble,
sitting
scribble,
back
scribble.
like
Yeah,
Ryuk
totally.
does, lounging, right?
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
writing names.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So
Eating an apple.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll give the lack of Shinigami movement a pass when literally the one word did it for me. So well done, Mikey Lee.
Nice.
That's it. Yes.
Nice.
Okay, let's talk about music, because this came up before we started recording. The opening tunes, again, all the opening tunes are early 2000s screamo tunes for every anime. It's pop
Yeah.
punk or screamo. What's
Yeah.
the deal with that?
That you know what? To be honest, I think it's because Rockman, which is known in Japan as Rockman, is Mega Man to us.
Oh, okay.
Right, like those digital like sounds and music and sound bites, like that's technically metalcore.
Yeah,
like digital metalcore, and
It is
I think.
kinda.
And I think that's kind of where a lot of that originated from.
Yeah.
And with that kind of heavy music, like we have death metal and thrash and stuff like this, but I find that like J metal is just a bit more refined back then.
It's just funny because like North American cartoons when we were kids, it was always kind of like a dumbed down hair metal.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Whereas,
Cheesy.
Yeah.
Like Go Power Rangers.
Exactly,
Like,
right? Yeah.
But that's the thing, like
Even though that was iconic.
that's a symptom of the fact that rock music had been so saturated in the Western market for so long.
Yeah.
that it was overflowing here.
Yeah.
Over there, it was
Yeah.
it was still huge, right? But like the visual K would be the genre of music that this probably was.
Okay.
And that was a type of J metal, like Mikey said, where they dress up kind of like Ryuk.
Yeah.
On stage.
Okay, yeah.
They get really crazy makeup, really crazy hair, but then they end up playing this like new metal kind of
cheesy kinda
metalcore
stuff, yeah.
right? But that was,
Strange.
dude, that type of music, I mean, it's still huge. That subculture is always going to be in Japan.
Yeah.
But in the early 2000s, dude, that was the shit in Japan, dude.
Yeah.
Durin Gray, Despair's Ray.
Oh yeah,
like,
Durin Gray. I totally forgot about them.
right? Like
Yeah.
all those groups were like the Gazette. Like all those groups were huge there at the time.
Yeah.
And their aesthetic lines up and their sound lines up perfectly with the aesthetic and darkness of this show.
Yeah.
Not to mention the target audience of this show was like all the fucking emo goth kids in Japan.
For
right?
sure. It's just funny
What are they
because
listening to? What are they listening to?
Yeah.
Probably the artist who did the opening for Death Note.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just funny because we think, because especially with this new fucking emo festival that's going around the internet, like we have a tendency to think that like the Western emo screamo scene of the early 2000s was like our own thing, but really what it's showing to me is that this was already huge in Japan. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it trickled over here because when this show was airing, that was still kind of an underground scene here. So that's why to me it's so shocking that it's like that style of music is the intro song to a big show. Because here it was like I was getting laughed at for my straightened hair. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but there it was already a big deal.
If people in Japan knew you,
Yeah.
they wouldn't laugh at you.
No.
They would
No.
probably thought you were the coolest fucking guy ever.
Yeah,
Well, that's the
they'd be
thing, right?
I was
Yeah.
really fucking cool back then. I was really fucking cool back then.
Yeah, with that blonde mullet.
Yeah. Hey, shut up.
The blonde mullet was sick. Don't let him tell you that.
I would live my truth my whole damn life. The only other music note I have is one that I say all the fucking time is that like I just didn't notice the music for a lot of this show. It was just there,
You know
did
what,
its
though?
job.
Yeah,
I'm starting to wonder if that's a good or a bad thing. Like, do you want the music to stand out or do you want it to just, complement?
Yeah, see, for me, I always think about music as like the opening theme song or the ending theme song, like, and what music that they choose, because I'll just put on a list of like on Spotify, like anime theme song music, and that's like my jam for the day, right?
Yeah.
So when I think of music, that's usually where I'm going. Like as far as music that actually happens within the anime.
Yeah.
I'm not really thinking too much about it unless it's a music anime or like
I don't think we've come across one where I've been like, the music in this show is bad. Actually, that's not true. Initial D had some really bad music. Sorry, Jay.
Listen. No, I'm not gonna get into that.
But
Eurobeat fucking rips.
not just that, like even the song that was the love scene was weak. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like the love theme.
Well, actually, the one music themed anime I thought had pretty weak music too, but we won't get into that either.
We don't need to get into that either.
No, listen. To address your question, Jordy, like, which do you want? Do you want it to stand out or do you want it to not? Right? And for me, I think like a lot of it depends on the intent of the creator. Right? Is the creator trying to draw attention to our music or to the music or not?
Yeah.
Are they just trying to make a cohesive scene where you don't notice the music and you don't think about it? Because that's successful in a lot of ways as well.
Sure.
But if I'm in my head, if the director wants me to notice the music and that music is bad or doesn't suit the scene, then you fucked up, right?
Yeah.
For this, when the music gets intense, it's like you get the choir singing, you know what I mean? And like
it's standard.
It becomes this gothic, scary, tense music and whatnot, right?
But that's the aesthetic, though, right?
But that's the thing; it blends in with everything else.
It just did its job.
and you don't think about
well
it.
executed, you could say.
Good.
Yeah. Okay,
Right?
so it's good.
Because it was just trying to be that. It wasn't trying to be more than that.
Yeah.
And I think in that way it was successful. But
Fair enough. Yeah. That's all I had for music.
That's all you have for music. You know what? But let me tell you something about adding music into anime is that if you also put music on at home and while you're listening to the music,
You had me for a second there.
Same. He gets me every time.
Usually I see right through you, but for that one I was like, tell me more.
yeah, put on your favorite anime theme song while you subscribe, comment wherever you get your podcast. If you're watching this on YouTube or listening, it would really help us out. It would help Jordy out.
Why me specifically?
I don't know. Just to be honest, just help us.
Yeah. The one who needs help is Mikey Lee right now. He's having problems.
He's begging you.
Yeah, literally. Okay, let's get into characters.
The characters,
I find almost all of the characters in this show to be kind of unlikable. Like,
Glad you said almost.
Almost, yeah.
I dig some of their archetypes. Like, they all have reasons why they exist. You know what I mean? Like, as we said, Light is the anti-hero.
Yeah.
And as like a Western person who watched a lot of TV that's not anime my entire life, he's like a Dexter.
Yeah, Dexter.
You know what I mean?
or-
Except that I like Dexter, and I'm stoked when he kills someone. When Light kills someone, I was like, oh, this guy. God,
Yeah,
man,
but but Dexter is a fucking full-grown man. Yeah, we're taking like a high-level IQ teenager.
Yeah.
right. Like he's a straight A student. He's in high school. He's in high school. He's he's the all the girls like him. Like he's the the perfect son.
All of
But
that makes me like him less, though.
No, but that's
to be honest with you.
But that's the dynamic of like the having the double life.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, it's on purpose. Like we said before, I don't think they wanted you to like Light. You know what I mean? He's not supposed to be a likable character. I could be wrong.
I think you're supposed to wrestle with it.
Yeah.
I don't think you're supposed to land necessarily one way or the other. And
for sure.
For this show to be truly successful in those last few episodes, you kind of have to feel a little conflicted.
Yeah, and like just
I
that
don't.
vigilante.
I'm all for Light.
You're just 100% all out. Yeah, but we've talked about how fucked
motherfucker
up
would
you
put the
are.
gauntlet on and do what Thanos did. So
Right?
Yeah.
We've been over how fucked up
Mikey
some of
is,
Mikey's thinking is. Okay. We love him. We do. But we recognize it.
we love him because if he does get the gauntlet, we want him to spare us.
Yeah. We don't want him to use the death
I don't want him
note.
to write my name in there. That vigilante killer paradox, though, that when you say wrestle with, like you wrestle with that concept the whole time. The like, can it be good to just kill all the bad guys? Do you know what I mean? Because on one hand, you want to be a Mikey. And you want to say, well, yeah, he's doing the Lord's work and God bless Light.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But on the other hand, you're like, but it's still just a pile of murder. You know what I mean? It's a pile of murder. So
Absolutely. At the end of the day, right? Like,
And it's being enacted by somebody who is fallible.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, actually, at one point, L makes an analogy. He's like, it's like in a war where both sides think they're the good guys. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just hard to wrap your head around it. Like you say, you wrestle with it the whole time, right?
Well, but that's the thing, right? Like when anybody is put into this kind of archetype or this kind of storyline where, you think you're doing the right thing, but you're still doing something wrong in order to achieve it.
Yeah.
Right. Like you're always there's no right or wrong. It's just all about perspective.
For sure.
Right. It's all about, okay, so who's going to be taking their ideals and like really being gung-ho about it.
Totally.
Right?
And like when one side gets the death note, then they start to get act on it big time. Do you know what I mean? So, and that's what you see in this show.
Yeah.
The other thing about Light that was kind of interesting is they just like gradually dehumanize him more and more and more and more and more. Like he has these rules, right, about who to kill and like who's allowed to be killed at first, but he eventually just starts throwing that out the window and just killing people who like get in his way, right? He also like uses his dad's position in the Force completely recklessly.
Yeah.
Like he's not thinking about his family's well-being.
Yeah.
Which, spoiler alert, Jay did tell me that becomes a big deal in the last couple episodes. Yeah.
The last 10 episodes, that de-evolution continues.
Yeah.
And eventually Light's dad ends up dead over it.
Exactly, right? Yeah. I mean, he also uses Mira right off the bat. He's like, okay, I'm going to use this girl to my advantage because she's nothing to me. She's not,
But here's the thing, though. Like, I find that more humanizing because, he's infallible, right? He's becoming, he's letting the power get to his head.
Right.
He's egotistical. Humans are like that. He's becoming a megalomaniac.
Yeah.
Right? Like
Totally.
that to me just seems more human. That's the likely way that it would have gone with
Fair, yeah.
this amount of power.
I think maybe you're right. Maybe he's not dehumanizing, but he's like devaluing human life.
Yes.
To everyone around him, no matter how important they are to him, right? Like, and not just human life, because even Ryuk and Rem are just tools for him in the end, and he uses the shit out of them too. You know what I mean? Yeah.
It goes in tandem. Like as he feels more powerful, his regard for human life becomes less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As he climbs this ladder towards becoming a god, like he thinks,
He's got a twisted
people
god
matter
complex.
less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
It's happening at
that's
the
his
same
character
time.
archetype,
Yeah.
right? He's got the god complex.
He is spiraling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about your guy over here.
Ryuk?
Yeah, who I actually have to turn towards you because this statue is a little too creepy. Look at his fucking face, dude. What's crazy about him is he was really intense in the first episode and kind of scary, which is another thing. Not just the hype, but even the way the show is portrayed. I expected a really intense, creepy guy to go forward. Literally, episode 2, he's this silly motherfucker.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He's like a cat.
Yeah, he's so
He is a
strange.
cat.
Yeah.
He is such a cat.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Now we know why Mikey likes him so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I love cats.
And
goes.
yeah, we established I could have used some more real Shinigami moments from him. That was in my notes, but now like he's stoic.
He's stoic,
Yeah,
yeah.
and also kind of silly. Like the apples thing is fucking hilarious.
I love
dude.
it.
Yeah, he has that dry sense of humor, right?
Yeah.
Which I appreciate.
And he's
Cats
just
have
like
that.
intrigued by everything that's going on, everything Light's doing. Like, well, Light will pull a move and he'll be like, oh, okay.
Well, that's, I mean,
Interesting.
That, but that
Yeah.
makes sense though, considering he came from the Shinigami world where everybody was bored.
Yeah, and now he's getting
Right,
some
like-
excitement out of his life.
Yeah, right. Like he's feeling a little bit more fulfilled.
Doesn't he drop it on purpose for that exact reason?
That's
Yeah,
exactly.
they did say
because
that,
because they're like the other Shinigamis were like making fun of him, saying like you're writing people's names and your
Why are you even doing that?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
why bother? Like, right? He's like, I don't know, like I'm just bored, man.
Yeah.
It's like,
Trying to have some fun.
He's like, fine, I guess I'll just do my job. for a little bit.
yeah, right. Like, and half the time, like the other Shinigamis just aren't doing anything.
They're just literally sitting around, which
Yeah.
is what Shinigamis just do, I guess. But
Yeah.
at least he was writing names in the book.
yeah.
Yeah. Interesting, and like the Shinigamis all, I think I've sounded like a broken record, and we'll see if I even bring it up again. I don't fucking know, dude. The next character to talk about is L, who is like a legit creature, like he's a critter.
Yeah, he's your typical
Monkey?
like,
Like
no,
he's an
monkey-
actual monkey, dude.
monkey emo kid that likes sweets.
But dude, the way he sits on his chair is a monkey. The way he holds his phone to his ear is a
The way
monkey.
his physical mannerisms apparently
Yeah.
are a direct reference to the manga artist.
Oh, really?
Apparently, that's exactly how he likes to comfortably sit in chairs.
Weird.
Wow.
And so it was a reference to him. People
Yeah.
thought it was the writer, and
Yeah.
he was just like, "No, it's not me actually, but it is the artist. That's how he sits. That's how he like.
Weird,
It's
man.
how he just is with his mannerisms."
Wait, was the artist a neat?
A what?
A neat, like a recluse.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Yeah.
What, L kind of was.
Because like in Japan, there's like that's what they call them is neats. Like
Yeah.
they just stay at home, either play video games or draw,
Oh,
or
okay.
like and is a complete recluse.
Oh, yeah.
They don't have like jobs and stuff like that.
Could be,
Yeah.
could
Yeah.
be. But
that's
like
what L
apparently-
was, except instead of video games, it was just deducing shit.
Yeah, like well, he had like a beautiful mind, if we want to go
Yeah,
that,
I
that
guess so,
way,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
The reason, the other reason I says monkey is there was a scene where he's legit like eating a banana like a monkey, dude. Like, everything. I couldn't get monkey out of my head when I saw that guy.
Yeah, isn't he like holding it like this with the peel
Yeah.
open and like
Yeah.
picking off like the bottom pieces?
Yeah, he's
and,
just
like,
really
eating it,
strange,
just,
man.
like-
Really fucking weirdo. I found him to be like kind of a wiener, and like
Yeah, a little bit.
He's the good guy, but he just kept annoying me.
no social skills.
Well,
No
yeah.
social, not even that, dude. Just
You didn't like his little toe beans, like his little toes when he would sit, and
Yeah.
then they would like.
no, man.
You get a little toe wiggle.
Yeah, no, I don't really care about that. But also just the way he figures shit out. He just like, again, this whole show is just
Yeah.
this. It's just people it's thinking about things, figuring things out, and explaining it to other people, and then moving on. And that's
Yeah.
literally all he did the whole show. And I was like, I don't care about that anymore. It was boring.
Ah, come on, man.
I will say, like, I think some of the deductions made are leaps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
totally.
and oftentimes it would remind me that that the person writing this story is writing for both sides.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they know each other's moves. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And you could almost get that feeling. So it didn't really feel like a true head to head.
No.
It just felt like them acting out their lines.
Yeah.
And playing their roles in this story being written by one brain.
Yeah.
Well,
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
I guess I can see that because it was supposed to be like a cat and mouse chase, like back
Yeah.
and forth, right?
But
Switching
then you
between-
take a step outside and you realize the cat and mouse are both being puppeteered by the same
yeah.
brain,
Yeah.
and then you're like, oh well, that takes it out.
It ruins it a little
It
bit.
ruins
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
the tense the yeah.
It's like when
the
you find out
intensity.
wrestling is fake.
Wait, what?
You know what I mean?
What the fuck did you just say?
Yeah, it's not real.
All right, this episode's fucking done. we're over.
But it is that concept. Like everything's written, and this show, it was hard to like. I mean, shows are written. We know this, but in this show, it was hard to ignore that fact. They were
Yeah.
just like shoving it in your face.
Yeah,
right?
but like it's like, have you ever tried playing chess by yourself?
Why would anybody do that?
Well, because it's an interesting practice, and also like it's really fucking hard.
Do you want to know a spoiler alert? When you do
What?
that, you win.
and lose
Yeah.
at the same time?
I know. Yeah.
Fuck it, I'm gonna write your fucking name in this book.
Death by chess somehow.
Yeah. Fucking chess piece is gonna be thrown across the
I'm just gonna choke on it.
Mikey's eyes turn red for a second.
Yeah.
That's the thing, right? I don't have a lot of other notes on characters. I know Misa was a big character, but like I don't really know what else to say about her or any of the other characters.
Did she
like,
annoy you?
She was again like a tropey character,
yeah,
right?
she was like a Lolita.
Yeah.
Did you feel for her?
Not really. To be
You know
honest
what?
with you.
She kind of reminded me of Harley Quinn. Had
Okay.
that kind of Harley Quinn
Can see
vibe.
that.
That's
early,
a great comparison.
yeah,
dude.
early
Fantastic
Harley,
comparison.
early Harley Quinn vibes before
see
she
it.
could like, branch out on her own, but she never actually does.
Yeah.
I will say, like, I felt a lot for her. I felt really
Yeah.
bad for her. As much as a lot of what she goes through is by her own hand and her own doing.
Yeah.
She to me felt like a broken person.
Yeah.
A celebrity who was being ruined by celebrity life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
She's kind of a Mima.
Kind of unable to,
Yeah, a
to
little
cope,
bit.
unable to cope with the pressures of being a famous person.
Yeah.
Given way too much power, which is kind of a correlation to her celebrity power
Yeah.
and the power she wields as somebody who has a death note, right? And she just gets strung along through this story. She thinks she's in love the whole time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She's innocently kind of going through the motions innocently. She thinks it's innocent. Her actions aren't quite so innocent,
Right, yeah,
obviously,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then obviously, by the end, again, beyond the 26 episodes, by the end of the 26 episodes, your guys' understanding is that Mima's just chilling somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
Pretty much.
Mima.
Same, yeah.
Well, by the end of the
Same, but
actual
different.
series, your final glimpse at Misa, she's dressed up in what looks like her maybe Sunday best, maybe best maid outfit. I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe it could be the same thing.
She's gonna go clean
I
someone's
don't
house
know.
real
It
good.
looks like that, but
Yeah.
she takes a subway car
Yeah.
alone to a building and then goes up to the very top floor of the building
Mm-hmm.
and stands on the ledge of the roof and looks out at the sunset, and then the screen cuts to black.
Yeah.
Implying that she takes her own life.
She
in that
went for the
moment,
leap, yeah.
which I think truly solidifies her as like a sympathetic character in the end.
Yeah. Okay. I can believe that.
I think there's more complexity to Misa. I like Misa a lot.
She was fine. Again, the reason I have no notes is because like I just wasn't taken with her or anything
Okay.
like that. It was just
You just weren't paying attention to the fucking TV show.
dude, I was paying attention. I was just like generally bored, and so like it was hard for me to pull things out.
I think you know what?
Yeah.
The same thing happened. I think with Initial D with you.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
I
could be.
saw all this complexity in a lot of the minor and secondary characters
Yeah.
there that you just simply didn't.
Yeah.
And I think it was just because your lack of interest was just like I'm not going to dig deeper on this because I don't care.
Yeah, you're probably right. You're probably right. Yeah.
which is bad for
Yeah.
I get
somebody
it.
who's trying to be critical thinking and taking
Yeah,
notes.
I mean, I have a bunch of notes, dude. I just like they're just about
Yeah,
different
lazy,
things. I guess.
lazy.
Fuck yourself, buddy.
I'm just saying I get it.
Yeah.
The only reason I brought that up is because like I understand that. I
Yeah.
think that's a totally human thing.
Sure, but also keep in mind that like if a show is boring and I'm not watching it because I have to because you fucks are making me watch it, then I'm not going to continue to watch just because there might be some nuances. I'm going to give up and move on to the next show.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
I do
Yeah,
know
okay.
you to be that way.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah. We
very
talked
true.
about like your willingness to drop shows.
Yeah, I'll drop a show.
Yeah.
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 You got to be good. You got to write good shit.
Gotta be good.
Speaking about writing good shit, let's talk about the plot.
Okay.
Okay. Actually, before we do that, fun fact.
Mikey's got some Easter eggs.
I got. It's not so much an Easter egg. It's
okay.
just a little fun fact.
Still,
from
you're on
what
the
I
ball
remember.
of these, so I'm
Yeah.
excited about this.
I think I only got one.
It better be good then.
Fuck you.
Let me say it.
All that fucking pressure. Our listeners are gonna.
Yeah. Let's hear it.
Yeah.
And we're dark.
And we're dark. But what was it? You know when they were Light and El were like chained together and like El like tries to kick him and then
Yeah.
so people thought that he was like a capoeira master.
Okay.
Right?
Right.
And the guy and the writer was like, I don't know what that is. And then they
He just happened to draw a perfect capoeira kick.
yeah, it just kind of
Yeah.
looked like that kind of dancey. And
Yeah.
then somebody explained it to him. He's like, oh, that's canon for sure now.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he totally is a capoeira
Yeah, like
master.
he liked the idea so
Yeah.
much so that he was just like, okay, let's put that in.
Yeah, he's like, now he's gonna listen to this and be like, I mean, yeah, L was totally supposed to be like a monkey. That was on purpose. Yeah. Okay, so plot. So I already established that, like, in the first episode, you see the Shinigami world. You get this creepy Shinigamis, you know what I mean? And you get a framework for how the mechanism of the show is going to work, the Death Note, right?
Yeah.
So the thing is that first episode doesn't really hold up for the rest of the show. I already addressed the fact that there's, like, some creepiness that just goes away in the Shinigami realm. But also even, like, the Death Note, like, they have so many rules. And they don't even use them all.
No, I know.
know
Like,
what I
I
mean?
have the rules. Like, we have the rules in here.
I expected that I was going to have to start making a list of all the rules as I was going and keep track of them as it was going, and it just wasn't the case. You going to read them? Read me a fucking weird one.
Let's see here. I'm just gonna read a random one.
Okay.
While Mikey decides, there's actually in the very early stages of the manga, when they were like kind of doing like a pilot run of the manga to try and get the manga approved.
Yeah.
They introduced the concept and idea of the death eraser. And it was a plain white gum eraser that you could use and could actually bring somebody back to life.
I'm glad that didn't make it into the show.
Would've been
that would have
interesting.
my eyes rolled into the back of my fucking head. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'm just gonna read a random one here. So even if you do not actually possess the Death Note, the effect will be the same if you can recognize the person and his/her name to place in the blank.
Okay.
I'm gonna put that down.
One thing I'll say about the rules, and you'll love this, is that they kind of got so complicated and overused, right? That eventually I just stopped paying attention to what they were and just accepted the fact that what Light was doing was just among the rules. And so, like, when he would just do something with the book,
grinding him down.
I was
Shweebs.
like, he knows the rules, I don't, so I guess that's allowed. You know what I mean? So that was that. His first kill was like a victimless crime. It was his first kind of god complex move, right?
Well, I think he was just like testing out whether or not this is like a real deal, like his curiosity.
exactly.
got
But
the
he
better.
did pick like a rapey dude,
Yes.
right outside the convenience store, who just happens to very conveniently tell his victim his name.
Yeah.
Within earshot, right?
Yeah.
I'm the whatever girl, and he's like, "Oh, you're what? Sorry."
Can you say that again?
Yeah.
A little louder?
Yeah. Sorry, what was your name there, sir? Mr. Rapey's guy? And again, like, just convenient like everything else in this show. Do you know what I mean? And then really quickly, like within the next episode, he reveals he's killed hundreds of people in 5 days, and we didn't see any of those kills happen.
Yeah.
So like they jumped his level of involvement with the Death Note like so drastically in a sentence.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which was kind of a lot at once, but they have to. You can't you get Monster of the Weeky if you have to show him in each one of his kills, right?
Yeah.
Which would have turned me off even more.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's for sure. I think that would have been a bad move for this specific anime.
Yeah,
100%.
yeah.
Right? You
One
need
thing
to get the story going.
Yeah, they have to, right?
Yeah.
What I did like about the show is they kept doing this thing where like I kept asking myself questions like, okay, hundreds in 5 days, that's a massive body count, right? I was like, where's the police? And then immediately afterwards, there's like a scene where now Interpol's involved, and there's like this whole task force. Like, okay, I like how like
Just
they're
in time.
making me ask the question, and then really immediately they're explaining it to me. So that was okay.
That was acceptable.
That's
like
like, so
that,
that's
yeah.
a point for pacing.
Yeah, for sure, 100%. Sometimes the pacing was dry. Sometimes it was really good in that
Yeah.
regard. So then we meet Elle, and like I said, I was kind of annoyed with him about how he's like, I know he's supposed to be a genius, but like Jay said, his deductions were leaps. Always, every single time, he's like, it's got to be this thing, and everyone's like, yeah, you're right, and he is right. But it's like, how would you ever fucking guess that?
Nobody would have
Because
ever
he's a-
followed that
yeah.
line long enough to see if he was right or not,
Right,
because
yeah.
it's such a leap.
And because there's
That's
so
why his
many
name is
shorter
L,
lines that
'cause
he,
it's such a
L for leap.
Yeah.
The fuck out of here, man.
L for lame.
I like Jay more than I like Mikey right now. Yeah.
You love me, you bastard.
I do love you.
L
fucking
for
lot.
love, Mikey.
L for love.
Yeah.
Nice. What will I say? His read on the first kill, however, was really fucking good, right? Because Light did fuck up. He killed someone in his like little small local region. And that's why Elle right away was like, oh, well, he's definitely someone from this region. Like, who else would have known about this little rapey guy in this town? You know what I mean? So there were moments where he wasn't super leaping. There was a lot more leaps than not, right?
But I mean, I think he did a really good job, especially when like he started suspecting like it was an inside job where all the names are coming from like he had to have connections to the police.
Yeah.
Right. And the FBI got involved or whatever.
Yeah. Just the way that he would come to those conclusions sometimes was, again, like you said, the line was so long to get there. There's no detective that's doing that long line. You know what I mean? Because there's always a closer lead. No, I'm not. But there's for sure a closer lead.
There's always a more realistic lead.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like, that would have had to be.
It's part of what the show is so crazy is that the realizations Elle makes they have to be shocking. They have to be unbelievable in order for this show to be effective at all. So by the same metric that's a good point for the show, it also kind of hurts them because
for sure
at a certain point you're not going to necessarily believe every time.
You're right.
Sometimes I do. Sometimes I'm like, fucking, that was crazy, that was really good deduction. And other times I'm like, no, they would never ever fucking come to that conclusion.
I'll agree with you. I'm harping on the leaps, but you're right, there were some where it's like, okay, he nailed it. And I did say
some
like
were
the first
satisfying.
one he nailed it. Okay, and then of course his dad is the lead detective on the task force, which is just another point for convenience on this show. And of course, that means that Light can now hack into the police database and get lists of hundreds and thousands of criminal names to murder, right?
Well, and then eventually he gets put on the task force and
Of course. Again, convenience up my ass on this show. They just continually are giving me things that are so obvious and so convenient. Okay, so you get introduced to the Shinigami Eyes, which was a cool twist. And I kept thinking he was going to find a loophole. I was like, because he's never going to give away half his life. That's never an option for him. I was like, but he's going to have to find a way to have Shinigami Eyes. And he kind of does when he meets Misa and she has them. And she's like, I'll do anything for you. And he's like, great, now I have Shinigami Eyes. And a full lifespan. So I thought that was actually kind of clever as well, too. Then there's this weird little like plot arc with Ray Penber and his girlfriend. It's like a little standalone in the center. Do you know what I mean?
Yep. But it's a big factor in what catches Light up.
Totally. And so he does this thing where he's like, I know what I'll do. I'll go on a date. No one will suspect me because I'm a regular human. And so he goes on the date, and all this shit goes down on the date, right? Because there's a bank robber that like he for some reason, because the bank robber shows up, he's able to make Ray Pember tell him his name. Right. I can't remember how the mechanism worked, but it was like
on the bus where
it was a scheme. It was a whole top to bottom scheme.
That's what I'm saying. Like he's genius in that way that he played everything out, and that was also the mechanism where he figured out how to use the book to its full potential.
For sure, but also as far as dehumanizing other humans, that girl he took on a date, he ruined that girl's life forever. You know what I mean? Like he forced her to witness a murder, and like a bunch of shit went down in front of her eyes. And he didn't give a fuck about her.
Well, I mean that's also the mechanism that brought in that dude's, I think,
his girlfriend. Her fiance, actually. Before she comes in, though, you find out that somehow Light figures out all the names of all the FBI in Japan and murders every single FBI agent in all Japan.
Insane.
Which was kind of swept under the rug, but as I'm watching that, I was like, that's one of the biggest things you've done yet, dude. You wiped out the entire FBI presence in Japan, and they were looking after you. You know what I mean?
I do want, real quick, just kind of want to go back. That girl he goes on the date with. In the last 10 episodes,
she comes back in.
Interesting. But he brings her back in once again to like
ruin her life again,
to ruin her life further by convincing her that he loves her. And he's basically like two timing her and Misa. And basically using both of them as tools at that point by the end of the show. Again, further solidifying his fall from humanity.
For sure.
Because he's just like, everyone and anyone is my weapon.
Everyone's
now.
Tools. Everyone's just going to help me get to my ends. So the guy's fiance, Ray Pember's fiance, she obviously and very quickly gets owned by him, right? He writes her into a suicide. And this is kind of a point where I realized how kind of OP Light was becoming, because you like how I know the words now? Because it reminded me actually a lot of Initial D, because the whole show now is, Light might get caught because of XYZ reason. But nope, he's good because of XYZ solution. And it was just like one after another situation like that. You know what I mean? And I was that's starting to get bored a little bit.
I guess that's the thing with this one. It just seems a bit more exciting than Initial D, because it's a battle of minds where a race is very straightforward. Right?
I agree. It was definitely like each one had a little bit of a different flavor than just like, dude, races, he might lose to Racer, he wins in the race.
The
each one was a little bit different
too, right? Because like if Takumi loses a race, he soups up his car and races again.
Exactly.
If Light loses,
he dies
at
or goes
any
to jail
step
forever.
along the point, the show's over. So you kind of can't lose ever, really, until he does in the very, very
for
end.
sure. It just was starting to feel a little monster of the weeky for me without an actual monster. And I was like starting to check out a little bit.
Are we not going to talk about the potato chip?
That's the next thing I was going to talk about. Literally the next thing on my list is, okay, so the task force is surveilling his house, okay? And how is he hiding a TV and a notebook and a pen in a bag of potato chips, dude? They have 64 cameras in his room. 64 cameras.
I know.
This is fucking bullshit.
I know.
Okay. But like, well, the notebook was still more or less out, I guess.
It was the
TV.
The TV.
Yeah,
But even
the little
still,
tiny
come
TV.
on. Come
but
on.
like, okay, my favorite thing about that though is just the fucking dialogue that he gets into on the chip.
What do you
Especially the dub. Have you heard it in the dub?
No, but it's like oh, actually no, I have I remember watching it, but it's like he says something along the lines of like, I can crush everybody just like this potato chip. The weight of my fingers.
I don't remember that.
Something like that.
That's ridiculous, dude.
Senpai, figure out.
I'm gonna get it up right now.
The whole scene was crazy, and also like then he just throws away the TV in the bag of chips, and no one hears thunk when he drops that in the garbage can. There's a TV in there, buddy.
Well, dude, if it's a fucking screen the size of a potato chip bag, you know what I mean? It's not going to make that big of a thunk.
Okay, fair enough. Even still, the light from it should have been seen in the cameras. Like, there's a lot of reasons why that doesn't work in real life.
Yeah.
I know, like that many cameras. Not a single view is seeing this glow emanating from inside of this chip bag.
64 cameras in a little room. One of them's got the angle on that for sure. He also in this scene too, he drops a piece of the death note in the garbage, like he writes someone's name in it, and I kept thinking that was a missed opportunity because we know the rule that if someone touches the death note they see Shinigamis, and right away I was like, oh, he threw it in the garbage, like one of his family members is going to come clean his room and accidentally touch it
and then see Ryuk.
but there was never an accidental touch, an accidental thing he didn't plan happened. Everything that happened, and that's another thing about the show, everything that happens to him is something someone planned. Nothing accidental happens. Do you know what I mean? And I think an accidental thing to throw him off his game would have been nice. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, like even like I'm going to jump ahead a little bit, like the watch. Right, his watch, it was very convenient.
But I love that because that was planned. He did that all well in advance, right? That ending sequence was really fucking good, dude. Yeah, and we'll get there. Do you need another minute, Jay?
I'll take a potato chip.
And eat it.
He's breathing all heavily.
I'll write a name with my left hand, and I'll take a potato chip
and eat it.
And eat it.
Such a big deal. Fucking crazy, man. That scene was bonkers. Okay, where can we go here next? Let's talk about Light and L and their relationship getting deep for a little bit because that's like a huge plot point too, right? L shows up at Light's school and he like really quickly admits to Light, he's like, I'm L. And you're like, whoa, what the fuck, right? And it's all intentional. They're all they're both constantly scheming these moments around each other, right? They have this red hair, blue hair thing.
Yeah,
but only in like those like moments where I think we're in their interior monologue, right? So what's going on with that? Is that just visual for the viewer?
Yeah, I think so. Like just the aesthetic,
red evil,
things like that
blue,
tend to take me out of stories because I'm like, oh, you're treating me like I'm stupid. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, I know who's evil and who's good. I didn't need their hair color to change in this moment just so that you could make sure that I know.
I don't think they're trying to hold your hand when they choose to do that. I think it's an aesthetic visual choice.
Yeah. Okay. It felt a little heavy-handed for me, and it takes me out of the story.
Well, I mean, the other thing too is like with the Shinigamis and all that, it's that gothic aesthetic, right?
Yeah.
Like, and if you're in modern day Japan, you're not going to get a lot of that, so you got to bring it into somewhere else.
Yeah,
right.
That's true. You're right.
The red Shinigami eyes.
Yeah,
the
red
Shinigami aura.
A lot of shows we've watched, the bad guy's eyes flash red. Like that's a common thing.
Yeah,
in
it's a
anime.
very common thing. Yeah.
Okay, so the next thing that happens. Spooky, which the show kind of. So now let's get into the second Kira and Misa.
Yeah.
So the thing about that is, it was a cool kind of element to play in. I didn't see it coming, so to me, I was like, "Oh, cool! There's a fucking another one." But the delivery of it was kind of whack because like it's literally just Elle being like, "Well, looks like there's another Kira," and I'm like, "What the fuck?" Because at the time, as a viewer, you don't know that it's not Light doing that, right? It's just Elle just knows.
Yeah.
Another leap of deduction from him, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, I assume right away again that Light's too OP to lose to the other Kira. So I'm like, okay, he's going to figure this out and get into it. And again, there's a lot of deduction and discussion, and it's getting thick as fuck to me. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Light, L, they're all just talking and figuring shit out, which to me is a boring show.
No.
Okay, so
I'm having a hard time arguing this one.
because it is boring a lot of the time, dude.
No, again, you know what? A part of me is like, I have a hard time when you say stuff like that, only because of my nostalgia for it, and
Yeah.
it's. Again, it's the day old argument that we have, right? Where you're looking at it in this day and age, and the age that you're at now,
Yeah.
where I'm thinking of it of the time that
Sure.
that I've watched it when it came
fair
out.
enough, yeah, but that's why
right?
it's fun that we get to talk about it this way, because I get to make you angry.
Man.
I like it a lot. Okay, so
Fucking sick bastard.
one of us is a sick bastard, and it's not me. It's been established. Okay, so Misa's fucking lights shit
Yeah.
up. She's the wrench in the gears. And so this is a situation where, like I said, something kind of out of his plans and out of L's plans happen.
Yeah.
She's like a wrench in the gears. And she's in fucking love with him. And there's that scene where she just shows up at his house unannounced, and it freaks him the fuck out. And then he hugs her because he's like, it takes him a minute, but he's got a plan real quickly.
Yeah.
And he hugs her, and there's this crazy, like, multi-angle replay of her gasping as he hugs her. I laughed out loud in my room, dude. Which I'm sure is like a tropey thing, but I was like, the drama they added
Yeah.
into that one hug was fucking hilarious. Yeah.
But I
It's a
think
big deal
that's-
for Misa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a huge
was,
deal for,
yeah, exactly.
for Misa. Yeah.
Okay, so Elle gets close to finding out what's going on, really close, and so Light then they have to like lock everyone up in the rooms together, like they move into that compound, right? Which also like, how the fuck are they funding this compound? They're not even cops anymore. Who's paying their bills?
Well, no, Elle is still part of
Is
like
still what, an orphan who just is really smart? He's not part of an organization,
no, but well, I mean, the government will still.
are they?
Maybe he's got
Yeah.
that big orphanage money.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, you got it. Okay, so when this happens, we see that Rem wipes Misa's Shinigami memory, right?
Yeah.
That's like a thing they flesh out as it's happening. And then Light says goodbye to Ryuk randomly. And I'm like, what? And then you don't see Ryuk for a while. And it legitimately took me like 5 or 6 episodes to realize that Light wasn't Kira anymore. I had no fucking idea for a while. I just kept wondering, like, where's Ryuk and why is Light not doing Death Note shit? Like, I just didn't get it. I don't know if they did they explain it and I miss it.
Doesn't he give it away?
yeah. So
Yeah.
the whole concept was that like,
Well, I know the concept because they give it to you later. They fill
Yeah.
you in later.
Yeah,
but
but
at the time they didn't tell me what was going on, and
Not
I
exactly.
had no fucking idea.
You're in the
Yeah.
forest, right?
Yeah.
yeah, that's later though, way
Yeah.
later.
But you see it first, briefly. You see that they're in the forest and they're talking.
Yeah,
There's
and
a
he
deal
says
going down.
he says goodbye.
Yeah,
to
That's
Ryuk.
right, and
That's all you get.
all you get.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And I kind of deducted at that point that he was doing something because he said that you can
he's
you
scheming
can
something.
you can relinquish the Death Note.
Yeah. I didn't. I guess like maybe I wasn't paying attention.
see, lazy motherfucker.
I missed that, dude, and it took me a bunch of episodes to realize because like 4 or 5 episodes in, I was like, oh, I was like, he's not Kira right now. I get it now. I get it.
And that's the whole thing where like when you're trying to put in some sort of mystery,
Yeah.
and, like right, you
Yeah.
want to put in a twist.
For
It's
sure.
not gonna spell it out for you.
Yeah. This whole section, I'll tell you, dude, was kind of was more hard for me than the already boring shit because now Light's not even Kira anymore. He's not killing people. Him and Elle are literally just doing more deducing and more talking. And
But he is still killing people because he was pre-killing people.
not even after that even wore off after a while because now who's doing it is Rem and the fucking businessmen. And I was like, I don't care about them at all. They build up this Light L thing and then they throw it away for a little while. Do you know what I
But
mean?
this was his scheme to
I know.
frame that guy.
And again, I've said a bunch of times that the last couple episodes were
Yeah.
really fucking good because they bring you back and close all the loopholes they made. But while the loopholes were open, I was just like, what? Why am I watching the show? Like, what's
I
happening?
agree. It got weird for me, and I was constantly confused. I'm like, how are they possibly gonna bring Light back?
Yeah.
Like the old Light, the
Yeah.
original Light, the
Yeah.
Light that we want to see the conclusion to. How are they possibly gonna reel this back in now?
Yeah.
Because
And-
it's so far gone
Yeah.
from the last time we saw the L or the Light
Yeah.
that we started with.
It was a while.
He
Like
drops.
a long
He
time.
loses his memory. He
Yeah.
fucking and then there's what almost maybe 10 episodes
Yeah.
where he
Probably
doesn't have
about,
his
yeah.
memory.
Yeah. It was too
That
much.
being said,
it was too much.
It was too much, but when he does get it back, like
Dude,
you
it's
said,
It's so
it
satisfying.
is
Yeah.
orgasmic.
Let's get to that part right now because that really is the next thing. Did you come or did you edge like Mikey? At that point?
I did not edge. That's Mikey's thing. Masochist.
Okay. So let's get to that.
I'm a sadist.
Right. Sorry. No, sadomassochist, I think was what we agreed on.
I guess so. Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah, Mikey just likes to feel pain. He just likes to hurt. I'm more of a pleasure guy myself.
No, I like to dole out pain.
Okay, yeah. You don't like receiving it.
No.
Okay.
I'm a sadist.
Let's get to that last plot arc because it really was fucking brilliant. And again, they spent a lot of time losing me, but they did bring me back.
Yeah.
So the task force now is like taking down the businessman because they know he's the other Kira and he's sweating and losing his shit. And it all comes head to head in this chase scene. And in the middle of the road, they finally get him. And now they all start seeing the Shinigami, which is what I wanted from the beginning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I really, I was just saying to you when you were looking up that quote that there was a scene where he threw a piece of the note in the garbage. I was like, please let someone touch that. I was like, I want them to see it. So that was great. And like so quickly lights back and the like expression on his face, your mind now is going, oh, I get it now. I see what's going to happen, right? It was fucking crazy. Then they go back and fill you in on the plan, which was like kind of complex and risky. Like there was a really good chance that wasn't going to work out the way he wanted it to.
Yeah.
But he's OP. So of course risks only go so far in a show like this. Do you know what I mean?
Plot armor for our main character, as always.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly. Yeah.
I think
so-
you need that a little bit, though.
It's always
Yeah,
going to be there.
yeah,
No matter what, your main character is
Yeah.
going to have it. Every show we've talked about,
Yeah.
the main
Yeah.
character's got some plot armor, but
It's
it's
true.
like, how heavy-handed are you with it?
For sure, yeah, exactly. So when it's super heavy-handed, I'm out.
You know
You know
what,
what I mean?
too,
Yeah.
though? Like, I got to keep remembering that this is a shonen at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Right? So it's geared towards, like, well, like
Teenage boys.
Teenage boys, right?
Yeah.
Who's not going to be able to put really complex, like thriller kind of mystery together in that cerebral way.
They
Yeah.
probably need their
Right.
hand held
A
through
little
this
bit,
story.
right?
Sure.
Yeah.
For sure, yeah.
Us as 30-something-year-olds, we're all like, we can flex our brains a little bit harder than this.
Yeah, like, I don't need blue and red hair. I understand who's good and bad.
yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Okay, so now Light and L are back in full force. Same old bullshit from before, right?
Yeah.
There's a weird scene. Sorry, off topic. Where like Misa, there's like a low-key nudity scene where she's like getting changed, and there's like the outline of her nipples, and I was like, did that
Fan
just happen?
service.
Yeah, but like weird to show that at the end, like this, and not have any of it leading up to there.
I mean, a little reward for teenagers.
I guess. Yeah,
Thanks,
sure, yeah.
thanks for sticking it out,
Yeah,
guys.
I
Thanks
know
for
we
sticking
fucked up those last 10 episodes. Here's some good shit for you. And also the show, like randomly, she's like singing this song, which is like a garbage song, dude. She's just like literally like just singing random words as they come out of her mouth about what's happening. I don't know what happened in that scene, but it was weirding me out. I was like, this is very, very strange. Okay, one episode that hit different was episode 25. Something weird, they made choices in the production. It almost felt like someone else was making the show. There were some audio choices, and just like the way that the scenes were coming together was really dramatic and drastic, whereas before I wasn't getting a lot of that, I felt. They kept doing like these audio edits where it would suddenly cut to silence. And I was like, what? It was like building my hype big time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, technically, that is the end of the arc, right?
Yeah.
And so originally, like we talked about before, like that's where they were going to close it off.
Yeah. Yeah, and honestly, like it felt like I was watching the second last episode. It felt like I was watching everything come to a head, and not just like the plot, but also the way the scenes were being edited. Like I said,
The
Those
production,
interesting audio choices. Yeah,
the production like almost reflects the scale of the story at that point.
Yeah. They
And
were ramping
you
up.
see that like especially in the really long, the serialized ones, like. Dude, the last 2 or 3 episodes of every Dragon Ball arc, the art goes through the fucking roof.
Yeah.
It's like we're coming to the end, guys. Let's just, shoot our load.
Yeah.
And fucking, you know.
Didn't you say in one of our past episodes? I want to say Inuyasha, which where that like sometimes they just like won't pay the top artists until they need the top
every
artists.
anime.
Yeah, every anime. Like when you get to like a really intense, like epic fight, like a really profound fight, like
They call them the
Climax.
ringers.
They have like in Japanese there's a word for it. I don't know what it is, but essentially there's a complete stylistic change that happens, and like different animators come in, or it's like one of the best ones that I can think of is you won't know this, but Naruto, where Naruto and Sasuke like fight each other like seriously for the first time with like their powers like all like fucking going all overdrive.
It looks crazy.
It's totally crazy.
It looks like a different show.
Yeah.
All of a sudden.
Well, and that's what I was saying. In this episode, it felt like that too, but it wasn't necessarily like the art. It was like the director maybe, or the producer. It's like they just brought in someone who was like, okay, I'm going to punch this up for you guys.
Yeah.
And I was feeling it was good.
Another common thing. I don't know for sure if they did this. I should probably be better at my job, but a lot of times when something this big, especially this culturally this huge, they'll show the last 3 or 4 episodes of an anime in theaters, combined, almost like a movie.
Yeah,
they'll be like I imagine in Japan when Attack on Titan finishes, the last episode will be shown in theaters.
Interesting.
100%. They treat it like a feature film, right?
That sounds fucking great.
Calling in a director like that to close things out and be like, let's make this the most epic fucking episode of anime ever.
Yeah,
makes perfect sense.
I would love if they did that here,
right?
Man.
So many shows, you're just anticipating that last episode, right?
Yeah, you want to go see it on the big screen.
Why wouldn't you want to do that with your friends? Yeah.
That'd be so dope.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm fucking opening up a theater.
Let's do it. Theater schmeater. Okay, so in this last episode, in this last scene, you see Elle like really kind of figuring it out. Like you're sure he knows, right? And you're sure he's gonna drop a bomb at some point.
Yeah.
There's a scene where he's like washing Light's feet, like a fucking real life Judas.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, he's for sure gonna either sell him out or these two are gonna fuck. Something was happening there. Like they were getting like really like
erotic.
I don't know, dude. It was just getting weird.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The relationship between the two of them. Because I think they both could realize that like shit was going to go down, right?
Yeah.
And then there's like some swift fucking moves, right? Where Rem pulls some quick Shinigami shit and L's down. L's dead.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere, right? Like I didn't see that coming.
Well,
I don't know if you guys saw that coming.
He makes the deal. You see him make the deal earlier with Rem, saying like if Misa's life is in danger, you have to kill L.
Yeah.
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 And she's like, deal.
Well, they did a good job building up that was hard for her to do because she dies too.
Well,
right. As soon as she does it, Rem dies too.
Well, the thing is, I think he even planned it all the way to the point of Misa forgetting what L's real name was, and that's kind of what the catalyst.
Oh, right.
Right.
That seemed to make him sweat though when she couldn't remember. Didn't that fuck light up? I don't know.
Yeah, a little bit, but I think
remember.
also for the writer, it probably was part of the mechanic for her, to put her in danger in order for Rem to step in and like sacrifice herself.
Sure, it was like they set up the dominoes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But they had to get set up in order for the last one to fall, which was Elle, right?
Yeah.
It was really clever, and it threw me off guard. And it was definitely like a really good moment in TV.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it was just really good.
I got goosebumps when the cuts are happening really quick and it's cutting back to them in the control room.
Yeah.
And then back to Rem.
Yeah.
You know, and
it
he was like
swift,
struggling
swift,
to write
yeah.
it, and it's just like back, forth, and you're like, oh, it's happening now, coming together. Oh my god.
And that's what I mean about the different direction choices, right? Like the cinematography changed in this last little sequence. Yeah. And then also Light looks down at Elle as he's dying and he makes this fucking face at him, dude. It was a Shinigami face, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was good. It was a good moment, man.
It was a good moment.
And he does that face again to Nier, which is L's successor. In the very end, he gives that same face, and in his very last moment says, "I win," and then his plan doesn't come through, and then all Matsuda, like happy boy Matsuda, one of the most likable guys on the task force, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Pretends to be Misa's manager for a while. Like he's just gung ho. He wants to do the right thing. He just wants to solve the
He's
case.
a fucking Boy Scout.
Absolutely,
exactly.
right? But you care for him, right? I mean, he's the one who you see that look of disappointment and shock on his face as he realizes that it was Light the whole time.
Yeah.
But then he's the one who ends up fucking pulling the trigger
And
and
it's
pumping
like,
Light full of lead, dude.
There's
It's crazy.
a lot of turmoil too because he respected the father.
It's all washing over him in that moment. Like, your dad, oh my God, everything. it's all hitting him in that moment, and
Yeah.
that's why he fucking shoots him, right?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Crazy. Again, I didn't watch any of that, and this is a good point to actually get into it. Is like we talked quite a bit actually about whether or not we needed to watch that.
Yeah.
Because I know at first you're like, oh, we should probably just watch it, and Mikey's like, don't even really worry about it. And in the end, I think either way is probably fine. Because it really does cap up. But like, actually, you put it really well earlier today. You're like, if you really liked these characters and you really want to see a little bit more and you want to see it wrap up to like a finalization, because to me it felt like nice and wrapped up and I was happy with what I got, but there was no finality to it. If you watch to the end, you get ultimate finality, right?
For sure. But what I will say is that like while you do get that finality, nothing really takes place in that last 10 or so episodes.
Yeah.
That changes anything that happened in the first 26.
Sure.
Right? You can't get to episode 37 without going through those first 26. So get to 26 or whatever it is.
And then make the call.
your decision then.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
If you're dying for more, if you're like, fuck, I wish there was a few more episodes,
Yeah.
keep going.
Yeah.
You're going to get something.
Sure.
Some
Yeah.
finality at least.
Yeah.
Right? But if you get to the episode 26 and you're like, fuck, thank God that's over. It was a long fucking haul.
Or you just
Then
feel
don't do it.
satisfied. Yeah. Or you just feel satisfied and you're like, I'm curious about it, but I don't want the next 10 episodes to kind of ruin it for me because it's going downhill a little bit.
That was
Like,
exactly my thought process.
Yeah.
I legitimately had a note. I deleted it or what for some reason, but I was like, yeah, I'm satisfied and I know there's going to be more and I'm sure it'll be fine, but like there's no way they can do better than what they've done.
Yeah. The only way they could have is if they didn't do those 10 episodes and they just made fucking Light go into the Shinigami world and it's a whole new like,
Shinigami
different-
spin-off. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I want.
Or in my opinion, if they didn't kill L.
Yeah.
Sure.
If they wanted to stretch it out 10 more episodes and have Light lose in the end,
Yeah.
then you can't kill
It
L.
should have
yet.
been L, yeah.
L either that or L has to come back to life somehow,
Well,
right?
yeah.
But you jump the
The
shark
Death
when
Eraser.
you jump the shark when you kill L.
Yeah.
The show
Well,
is over.
And here's the thing, though, on the flip side of that is if they didn't kill L, we talked about this very briefly, is that like there's only so much push and pull in a plot arc like that I can take.
Yeah.
Right. And L and Light kind of like getting on top of each other and then pulling back and then the other one getting on top happened so often that if they gave me 10 more episodes of that just for a finality ending, I would have been even more bored than I was already.
And
Maybe.
I appreciate
Yeah.
that they didn't bring somebody back. Like, I mean, in anime, it's rare that they do that, and then when they do that, it's really poignant.
Yeah.
But like, this is not like North American comic books where they just fucking kill everyone dies. and then-
Permadeath is a thing.
Yeah, like anime. The reason why I love anime so much is because of permadeath.
Yeah.
Right. It's that like you get
You
attached.
dead? You dead.
Yeah, like you get attached to these characters, and then, like they kill them off, and you're like, "Fuck."
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Like.
Yeah.
Right, where the other one's like, I know fucking Wolverine's coming back eventually.
Yeah, of course he is.
In 20 different ways.
In 20 different ways. I know fucking Batman's coming back. Fuck
Oh,
that.
Superman's dead?
Yeah,
Again?
Yeah. So, yeah. It's crazy. That pretty much wraps up our show, man.
Yeah.
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 Dude.
All right. So
Fucking ratings.
Ratings. Oh,
This
yeah.
is tough, dude. I've been struggling to think of what my final rating would be.
okay, you know what we should do? We should give it. Well, for you and I, we should give it 2 ratings. One for the first 26, and then
One
as a whole,
including
as
the last
one as
10.
a
whole story?
Yeah, and then for you, just give us a fucking 26 episode rating.
Okay.
So we'll start with you, Jordy. What do you give it?
You're not gonna like my score, and I'll tell you why.
Go home.
I really did like those last couple
Okay,
episodes,
okay.
but I just can't forgive how bored I was for most
Yeah.
of this show. I mean, it was great, and they wrapped it up, and they answered all my questions, but it took me 24 episodes to get a good couple episodes.
So it was a slow burn. It's a
Yeah.
slow burn. It is a slow burn anime.
Yeah, it was just a little too slow for me. I'm gonna drop and give it a 6 out of 10.
What?
That's not bad. That's better than I thought you were going to give it.
Really?
I was
And if it
expecting
wasn't
a 4.
for those last couple episodes, it would have been a 4 or maybe a 3. Because again, I cannot stress enough how just kind of bored I was with all the talking and deliberating and just
I don't know.
figuring shit out with nothing actually happening that I was able to enjoy watching.
Okay, fine. I'll accept that one. And that's my own acceptance.
That's a
Yeah.
pass. That's a good solid C.
I know,
Yeah.
but I still can't not feel hurt.
I'm sorry, dude. Yeah, I know.
You might not like my scores either then. Honestly, fuck, I'm starting to get a little worried.
Okay, let's hear them. I'm curious. Yeah.
So I will give a score for the first 26 episodes first.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
The first arc, I
Yeah.
will say, the L arc.
Okay, yeah.
I would give 7.5 out of 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
For the whole show, I am going to subtract 0.5 points. I will say
That's
that,
actually a lot less than I thought.
and I'll give it a 7 on the whole.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
The story, I was happy to see it conclude. I was happy to see Light's demise and really to get that finality. That felt good.
Sure.
But the journey they take you on to reach that point, I really wasn't crazy about it, man.
Yeah.
For those 10 episodes.
Slow burn.
I like I said, I like the finality. That's satisfying to me, and it
Yeah.
will be to any of you guys that want to watch it if you want. But
Yeah.
just understand that the journey, that 10 episodes, is not fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, 7 on the whole, but 7.5 for the first
Okay.
26.
Yeah, so for me, I would probably give it the same. The first 20, like, you know what? I'm gonna give it 2 separate ratings, and like as separated, right? So the first arc is a 7.58, a standalone.
Yeah.
Okay.
The 10 episodes on its own, like a 4.
Sure.
Right?
I get you. Yeah.
right, like
Like
Yeah.
a not passing grade.
not passing grade. Like
Yeah.
I could have done without it.
Yeah.
I like the fact that, like, again, we covered this in another or what was it, Kill la Kill? I think we were talking about,
because there's an
It's like
epilogue movie somewhere.
It's
in
like
there.
it feels like an epilogue, those 10 episodes.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I don't need epilogues. I like
Yeah.
the fact that it's like a clip in time.
Yeah.
It gave me the nice, package, and I can just use my imagination because
Yeah.
I feel satisfied.
For sure. Did you notice though that episode 26, like the first half of the episode 26, was legitimately just a recap of the whole show?
Oh yeah, they
Yeah, so
animate that.
annoying.
Yeah,
Dude, I was
anime
like,
does that a lot.
I skipped the shit out of it.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah. I was
I
not
went to
interested
right
in
to
that.
where I saw new footage
Yeah.
coming. I'm like, okay, I'm good here.
Yeah.
Well, it's like a lot of animes will come out with like, episode 12.5, and that's like their recap episode.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm just like, I
The
waited
mid-season recap.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Actually,
like-
we didn't get into it, but Kill la Kill did one, but they faked you out.
Yeah.
Because remember, they're like, here's the recap episode. And I was like, fuck. And so I started skipping. And then I'm like, wait a minute, this is all new. And I realized that it was only like 5 minutes long. And
Yeah.
Senketsu is like, we got you motherfuckers. And I was like, yes, buddy. That was great.
Yeah. Especially like somebody who watches anime like as it's releasing, like I can't stand those
Yeah.
mid
Oh, because you like got excited all week to watch the new episode.
And then
now
I got a
you're let
0.5.
down.
As soon as I see that 0.5, I'm just so heartbroken.
Yeah.
Just like that that whole week.
Yeah.
Anticipating.
Well, it's a good thing you
Yeah.
watch like 30 shows a week. So
Yeah.
it's not like you're completely left down.
No, but sometimes you're really into a specific one, and then they throw that in.
That's
there.
true. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
I'll give you that, man.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does it.
Yeah, that does it.
Another
Like,
good one.
subscribe. Love you guys.
Please do. Don't write like comments or descriptions in your death notes with our names, please.
Also,
Yeah.
hanger91.bigcartel.com.
Yeah, get it.
Yeah.
I got that Death Note flash for all you
Yeah.
people that want to collect the flash. There you go, man.
There you go.
Got Misa, L, Light, Ryuk, Ren.
Some apples.
Some apples.
Yeah.
I even got the Shinigami apple. That's
Disgusting dusty black apple.
tasty black apple.
Where else can they find you, Jay?
At hanger.91 on Instagram.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the one.
That's
Go
the
there.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now Jay's starting to forget.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't forget mine. I'm at reaching in on Instagram.
Yeah, I'm at Korean Barbecue 86 on Instagram.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Let us know what's up.
We love
Okay.
you all.
Love you
Thanks.
guys.
See you, Shweebs.
Bye.
Peace.